My crush ghosted me, so I spent months in therapy realizing I'm too mentally ill to exist. Meanwhile, I lack the genuine desire to kill myself. My soul wants to keep existing. But can I really escape the bottomless pit of pain? Thank you seriously, even if it sounds sarcastic. For the longest time, I have maintained illusions of my life having any value or of there being any possibility of me becoming a true human being. Now that I have been in residential treatment for an extended period, and for the past 2 months, I have been in yet another, albeit less intense, mental health program far from home and college, I fully recognize that those beliefs are untrue. However, the process of realizing this truth did not begin with treatment. I know you mentioned that you were not proud of how you handled the situation, as if I somehow deserved any form of apology or respect. And I say this sincerely and appreciatively, it was inadvertently a significant factor in helping me understand that not only am I not a genuine, functioning human being like every single other person in my age, especially in college, even if I am still not back there, but that at this point in my life, there is absolutely no chance of me becoming one, in terms of undoing past damage. So even if, for whatever strange reason, you thought someone like me was entitled to an apology, I am not. Rather than anything other than expressions of disgust from you or anyone else, the previous mess was still productive for me, as I do recognize that is how I should be perceived. I remember you telling me in your last message that you understood how I felt and had once been in a similar position yourself. I'm not sure if you meant in terms of harming myself or more broadly regarding the experience of spending part of one's life without growing up like a normal human being and then feeling lost in the world, but I feel like you were referring to the latter. That was one of the most crucial points for me. Along with what you told me about your own experiences with harm, I saw that even if you at one time lived a life where you were not human, you must have turned everything around while that window was still open and were, at least by the time you started college, a person. Regardless of whatever you went through, you are now part of the world, from which I am forever excluded. So thank you again sincerely, even if it may sound sarcastic, which I can understand why it might from your perspective, for again inadvertently helping me let go of another illusion about my ability to change. I now accept that at this point in my life, I am too much of a mentally ill, sheltered freak to ever become a real human being, and that there is no time or point in continuing to hope for it. Sadly, after spending previous nights staring at bottles of pills, I ultimately can say I lack the genuine desire to take my own life for some reason. My soul really wants to continue existing even though I feel so hopeless. And I most likely will always cling to this false hope, especially since I invest so much effort into my appearance, which working on it makes me feel better than anything else in the world. But I am truly grateful that this situation helped me realize just how weak, empty, and helpless I am. More than anything, I recognize how hollow I am, completely devoid of normal human memories of having fun, suffering, discovering myself, and growing alongside other humans. Consequently, I feel compelled to be honest with myself and the world that I will never be a part of, despite my desire to be so, about my feelings regarding everything. I fully understand that this is inappropriate to send. In fact, I recognize that about the email I sent in early September too. When I sent the apology the following night, I claimed that I was holding on to false hope regarding friendship because it was easier to explain than the fact that I knew my actions were wrong but lacked sufficient mental stability and self-control not to compulsively broadcast my suffering. That I'm doing that again just proves how completely crazy and undeserving of interaction with humans I am. And more than anything, I am just so exhausted from being me that I cannot even identify what is wrong anymore. Moreover, my true feelings need to be expressed now. Again, even if not intentional, I am genuinely glad I was able to experience something that helped me stop being delusional about changing. Considering my outward oddity and pattern of behavior, I would hope that you would be at least somewhat as disgusted with me as I am with myself, because I believe that is the reasonable attitude to take towards me. My plan was to return to school in August. As much as the remaining delusional part of me desires that and still believes that things will change, I hope that, for one reason or another, that will not happen, least of all so that I cannot pose a threat to all the actual humans I encounter. So thank you sincerely for playing a role in facilitating these realizations. It is better than lying to myself. Signed, a hollow, exceedingly effeminate, hopelessly awkward, sheltered, unintelligent, neurodivergent, fat 21.5, up from 20.4 a year ago, hopeless excuse for a person. Hello, due to the current absolutely atrocious declining state of my mental health, it has been determined that my timeline for returning to college has been postponed, so I will not be attending college in at least the fall semester. I do not know if sharing a campus with someone whom I behaved inappropriately around caused you anxiety or discomfort, but I feel anxious that it may have. I do not want others to feel uncomfortable, So I thought I should inform you that you will not be on campus with someone who is crazy and hollow. Thank you for helping me realize how empty I am. Thank you for helping me realize how empty I am. Thank you for helping me realize how empty I am. Thank you for helping me realize how empty I am. Thank you for helping me realize how empty I am. Thank you for helping me realize how empty I am. Thank you for helping me realize how empty I am. This isn't ironic. I used to be delusional and think that change was possible for me, even though I have zero meaningful memories and suffer from extreme depression, anxiety, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, ADHD, obsessive-compulsive disorder, OCD, and more than anything, just a complete lag behind everyone else. It is genuinely good that I have had these experiences that are helping me recognize that trying to change doesn't make sense, as things cannot really be turned around at this stage in my life. So even if it is obviously not intentional, it is genuinely beneficial that others have helped me understand just how empty I am and how hopeless my situation is, because that is better than previously being delusional about ever fitting in with human beings. Please do not respond. I do not want you to have to find yourself in that unpleasant position again. I am just coming to terms with the truths about myself and am genuinely appreciative of any experiences that brought me to stop being delusional in my self-perception as a real human being. I apologize for bothering you, but I am just extremely depressed and emotionally drained and lack the willpower to resist the urge to send this anymore, even though I completely understand why it is wrong. Obviously, I feel very disassociated and unreal right now. Please ignore this. Even THOUGH, I cannot interact with you anymore. I just wanted to express my gratitude for helping me realize that I am too mentally ill to exist. I am so glad I am coming to terms with these realizations. Hi, I just recently left my intensive multi-month treatment without my phone or any contact with the outside world a few days ago. I was told that I had done exceptionally well and improved significantly, but then I got my phone back and now I have all these things returning that are rightfully overwhelming me. I am enrolled in another program until the semester begins in August, but it is merely a lower intensity program for young adults that my family requires me to participate in now. I obviously recognize that I need to respect your space. I have known that ever since I went beyond sporadic messaging and started seeking your attention desperately. However, I am just not in control because I am crazy, so I am doing this. I am not going to harm myself, of course. Even though it would probably be the wise choice, I could never gather the courage to go through with that. I am deeply sorry for existing. I wish I had never been born. I want to curl up into a ball and cry endlessly and scream forever because I lack any good memories to reflect upon, but I cannot do that, so instead I just wish I could disappear. I want to feel okay. 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 I just wish I could snuggle up with someone who also likes me, as if such a person exists, haha, but that needs to happen back at college and I won't be there until August, which is months away. Even that doesn't matter because I feel so weak and empty that I could never find someone who might see something worthwhile in me, and that wouldn't be that person's fault. I do not entertain any of that nasty thinking that it would somehow be her fault or society's fault. I fully acknowledge that I am someone who is worthless and empty. I apologize for being so empty and clearly making you uncomfortable. In fact, I have understood all along, including earlier in the past semester when I emailed you, that the only way forward is for me to leave you alone, especially considering how fortunate I am that you chose to display such grace even after my actions and admissions. I know I need to refrain from interacting with you, and I am aware of that, but I am typing this anyway and will likely send it because I am simply observing myself act in ways that feel beyond my control. I cannot control my behavior at this moment. I was exceptionally lucky that you wished me well even after everything, as I guess you expected me to comprehend that, and I did, and I made an effort to leave you alone. But then I experienced another mental health crisis and now I am struggling again. Why can't I just leave you alone? Because obviously you do not care about me, which I would never expect, as that wouldn't make any sense. You have a partner and I never truly knew you at all. I wish I were stable enough to trust myself to do the right thing, but I am crazy and cannot manage that. No matter what I attempt, I cannot let go of this entirely one-sided, extreme attachment to someone I do not know, and in fact, never knew at all, because I am too weak and empty to accomplish even that. I am certain I am not under any delusion that you spend any of your time or energy thinking about me, even if only negative, hateful thoughts. I cannot stop feeling awful about how empty I am. I obviously understand that I need to give you space. I have recognized this ever since I went beyond sporadic messaging and began to plead for your attention, but I am just not in control because I am crazy. So I am doing this. I am not going to take my own life, of course. Although that seems like it would be the wise thing to do, I could never muster the courage. I just wish I weren't so painfully aware of how weak I am. I just got back yesterday from my intense 3-month residential mental health treatment program, where I was cut off from the outside world entirely without my phone or anything, alongside a group of other young adults. I started a new medication specifically for extreme anxiety, and it was genuinely making me feel better, unlike my previous medications. Yesterday, I was informed by everyone how much I had improved mentally. But then I received my phone back and plummeted downwards like never before because I was reminded of how weak I am. I was hugging all my pillows just like all the nights before I went through that treatment. I am never going to be able to cuddle with a real person because I am so empty. Meanwhile, you have an actual life. Stop making me feel weak. 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 Actually, never mind. I am completely worthless and empty. You said you understood my feelings, but you also mentioned that you improved, and honestly, in that regard, fuck you. It's not the same because I am sure you were able to live by the time you reached college and were able to turn your life around, whereas I am still so empty. I never got better, my entire life is nothing, and I want to cry because I am so fucked up and I hate myself and I hope others hate me. Why do so many people get to live cool, interesting lives while they receive recognition and attention, while I have been utterly mentally broken for as long as I have existed? Why? I feel even worse when one such person mentions having suffered in the past but then improved, so why? I am so weak. I am so weak. I wish there weren't factors making me feel awful. Why couldn't I have been one of the interesting and strong people who receive attention and experience warmth and cuddles from other interesting and strong individuals? Thank you for helping me realize that I am too mentally ill to live. Thank you for helping me realize that I am too mentally ill to live. Thank you for helping me realize that I am too mentally ill to live. Thank you for helping me realize that I am too mentally ill to live. Thank you for helping me realize that I am too mentally ill to live. Thank you for helping me realize that I am too mentally ill to live. Sending this will accomplish nothing. Obviously, there is nothing you can do to change my feeling of EMPTYNSS. In fact, it will likely exacerbate it. I just need the people who have helped me realize how weak and empty I am to know that they have aided me in coming to these accurate realizations. You literally said you have anxiety, but the way you live is incompatible with that idea, so why would you say that? I am sorry, I am sorry, I am sorry, I am sorry, I am insane. I am considering ending my life soon because I am so weak and way too anxious to continue living. I wanted you to know that an insane, mentally ill, weak individual like me soon will not be able to scare you anymore, provided I had another mental health crisis, which I am not experiencing, by the way. I am actually taking steps that make sense in my situation. Also, I was discharged from my first mental health treatment program out of 2 I am enrolled in yesterday. I am deeply sorry for existing. I wish I never came into being. I want to curl up into a ball and cry and scream forever because I don't have any good memories to reflect upon, but I cannot, so I just feel like dying instead. I wish I could feel okay. I want to feel okay. I want to feel okay. I want to feel okay. I just want to snuggle up with someone who appreciates me too, as if such a person exists, haha. But I need to wait until I return to college, and I won't be there until August, which is months away. Even that doesn't matter because I feel so weak and empty that I could never find someone who might see anything of value in me, and I do not believe that would be that person's fault. I refuse to entertain any nasty thoughts about it being her fault or society's fault. I fully acknowledge that I am worthless. I will just die instead, okay? I apologize for being so empty and clearly having made you uncomfortable. In fact, I have understood throughout this entire time, including early on in the past semester when I emailed you, that my only option is to leave you alone, especially considering how fortunate I am that you chose to be so forgiving despite my actions and admissions. I recognize that I need to refrain from interacting with you, and I know that, but I am still typing this and may very well send it anyway, because I am merely observing myself act and feel too weak to regain control of myself. I am not capable of controlling my actions properly right now. No matter what I try, I can't release this entirely one-sided extreme attachment to someone I do not know and in fact, have never really known at all because I am too weak and empty to accomplish even that. I am certainly not under any impression that you spend any time or energy thinking about me at all, even negative or hateful thoughts. I cannot stop feeling terrible about how empty I am. I acknowledge that I need to give you space. I have understood this ever since I began sending sporadic messages and became desperate for your attention, but I am just not in control because I am crazy, so I took this step. I am not going to take my own life, of course. Even though that might be the rational choice, I could never summon the courage required. I just wish I were not so painfully aware of how weak I am. I just returned yesterday from an intense 3-month residential mental health treatment program where I was completely isolated from the world without my phone or any contact with a group of other young adults. I started a new medication for extreme anxiety, and it was genuinely helping me feel significantly better, unlike my previous prescriptions. Yesterday, I was told by everyone how much I had improved mentally. But then I received my phone back and spiraled downward like nobody else because I had all these reminders of how weak I am. I was cuddled up with my pillows, crying just as I had done on so many nights before I attended that treatment. I am never going to cuddle up with a real person because I feel so empty. Meanwhile, you have an actual life. Please stop making me feel weak. 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 I am completely worthless and empty. You mentioned that you understood my feelings, but you also indicated that you recovered. Honestly, in that regard, fuck you. It's not the same because I am sure you were able to live by the time you reached college and managed to turn your life around while I remained so empty. I never got better. My entire existence is nothing, and I want to cry because I am so messed up and I hate myself and I hope others hate me. Why do so many people get to live cool, interesting lives while they enjoy recognition and attention, while I have been utterly mentally broken for as long as I can remember? Why? It feels even worse when one such person discusses having experienced suffering in the past, but then improved, so why? I feel so weak. I am so weak. I wish the elements causing me this pain didn't exist. Why couldn't I have been one of the interesting and strong people who receive acknowledgement and experience warmth, cuddles, and affection from other fascinating and strong individuals? Thank you for helping me recognize that I am too mentally ill to continue living. Thank you for helping me recognize that I am too mentally ill to continue living. Thank you for helping me recognize that I am too mentally ill to continue living. Thank you for helping me recognize that I am too mentally ill to continue living. Thank you for helping me recognize that I am too mentally ill to continue living. Thank you for helping me recognize that I am too mentally ill to continue living. Sending this will accomplish nothing. Obviously, there is nothing that can be done to alter my condition of EMPTYNESS, and in fact, it may push me further into despair. I just need the individuals who have helped me understand how weak and empty I am to know they have assisted me in reaching these clear realizations. You said you experienced anxiety, but the lifestyle you led seems to contradict that assertion, so why do you say it? I apologize. I am insane. I am considering ending my life soon because I am so weak and way too anxious to continue living. I wanted you to know that a mentally ill, weak individual like me will soon not be able to frighten you anymore provided I encounter another mental health crisis, which I currently am not experiencing. I am actually engaging in actions that make sense in my situation. Also, I was discharged from my first mental health treatment program out of 2 I am enrolled in yesterday. I deeply regret existing. I wish I had never been born. I want to curl into a ball and scream forever as I lack any positive memories to reflect upon. Instead, I feel like simply fading away. I wish I could feel okay. I want to feel okay. I want to feel okay. I want to feel okay. I just want to snuggle up with someone who appreciates me too, as if such a person exists, haha, but that has to occur back at school, and I expect to not be back until August, which is months away. Even that doesn't matter because I feel so weak and empty that I could never find someone who might see anything worthwhile in me. I do not believe that would be that person's fault. I refuse to entertain any negative thoughts that the blame lies with her or society. I am fully aware that I am worthless. I'll just fade away instead, okay? I apologize for being this empty and evidently having made you uncomfortable. In truth, I have understood throughout this entire time, including early on in the past semester when I emailed you, that the only way forward is for me to allow you your space, especially considering how fortunate I am that you chose to exhibit such grace even after my actions and admissions. I fully comprehend that I need to refrain from engaging with you, and I know that, but I am typing this anyway and will likely send it regardless because I am merely observing myself and feel too weakened to regain control over myself. I am not in control of my actions right now at all. I lack the ability to manage myself properly. No matter what I attempt, I cannot release myself from this utterly one-sided obsession with someone I do not know and, in fact, have never truly known because I am too weak and empty to overcome it. I am certainly not under the illusion that you dedicate any of your time or energy to thinking about me, even negative, hateful thoughts. I cannot stop feeling terrible about how empty I am. I recognize that I need to allow you all the space. I've been aware of this ever since I became overly persistent in messaging you in search of your attention. I just am not in control because I am crazy. So I'm taking this step. I am not going to end my life, of course. Even though that might be the appropriate course of action, I cannot gather the courage to carry it out. It hurts so badly that I can no longer endure it. The weight of my existence feels unbearable. It hurts. Nothing feels genuine right now. I cannot amend the past. I simply want it all to stop. I loathe myself. It hurts. Story 2. Homeschooled in isolation, I woke up at 25 thinking, why can't anyone see me? After years of rejection and loneliness, I'm left feeling haunted by my childhood. People don't want to socialize with you if you don't have social skills, I keep telling myself. Will I ever find my place? TLDR, I am a 25-year-old male who is homeschooled, and I wake up each day reflecting on how much the isolation has affected me. Skip to 25 if you do not wish to read the lengthy backstory. Ages 09, I will start from the beginning. I was born to older parents. My father was in his mid-40s and my mother in her mid-30s in a modest town in the South. There was an abundance of love and security. We attended good churches. I went to elementary school with my brother and sister, where we were quite popular, thanks to our parents' insistence on teaching us to be polite and warm. I was quiet, but I made an effort to befriend everyone, not wanting to exclude anyone because of the arbitrary social hierarchies a grade schooler might create. There were plenty of sleepovers and birthday parties. I was happy. Age 10, when it was time for my older brother to attend middle school, my parents decided to withdraw us from the public school system and homeschool us. They disapproved of the excessive homework assigned to us, and they were particularly offended by the adult themes middle schoolers were exposed to in public school. I understand they acted in order to protect us. Ages 10-11. The first year of homeschooling was enjoyable. We all relished the absence of school-related stress and homework. My parents were relatively involved in our education. However, shortly into this year, my father was laid off from his job and passion as a woodworker and began working night shifts at Goodyear. He loathed that job, but he did it to ensure we had shelter. His schedule of working nights until dawn and then sleeping all day meant he could not be as present in our lives as a child needs. Ages 11-17. As I grew older into my early and mid-teens, my parents aged as well. They were now in their 60s and 50s. My father continued his blue-collar job, but my mother began to lose energy, particularly regarding homeschooling us. Eventually, we were no longer taught anything, spending our days playing computer games while my mother watched television. Also, ages 11-17. We had no social interaction with other children our age. All of our friends were kids we had befriended in elementary school, and they began to care less about us because of the distance and their new friendships at their schools. There were no girlfriends, no boyfriends. Discussions about sex were taboo. This continued for about 6 or 7 years, day in and day out. Age 17. One day I had to sit down with my parents and explain how severely the isolation was affecting us. Consequently, my mother enrolled me in a local community college. I had somehow managed to pass the exam required for a high school diploma from the homeschooling program we used. My brother passed as well, but he did not wish to enroll. My sister was too young. Ages 17 and 18. I enrolled in a welding program and eventually earned an associate degree, which I take pride in. However, during my 2 years of college, I realized how much my lack of socialization hindered me. I attempted to make friends by being polite and friendly, but they often turned away because I could not engage in banter or display the fun personality that other students possessed. I was still relying on the quiet but friendly demeanor I had cultivated as a child, yet prospective friends frequently declined my invitations for socializing in favor of those they found cooler and more entertaining. I attempted to talk to girls my age there, which today is often referred to as cold approach, but this led to rejections that stung even more than those from potential friends. Lacking the social skills essential to being humorous or charming, I was often ignored or ridiculed whenever someone more relatable joined the conversation. It felt as if they reveled in being unkind to me to communicate their lack of attraction. I distinctly remember one of the girls laughing with her male friends as they periodically glanced at me and stifled laughter as I passed by. Age 18, I began experiencing suicidal thoughts around this time. Age 19, I chose to enlist in the military after a meeting with a recruiter convinced me that I would find camaraderie and a sense of belonging among other young men. I was hopeful. Shortly after receiving my associate degree certificate, I went to boot camp. I quickly realized how unprepared I was upon arrival. Foot lockers required combination locks to open, and I had never used one before in my life. Fortunately, my rack mates were sympathetic and helped me figure it out, while everyone else mocked me for not being as well prepared as they were. I nearly got kicked out for underperforming. One night, the ostracism was so overwhelming that I almost attempted to hang myself with a towel on my rack. But somehow, I persevered. Ages 19-24. During my time in the military, I gained rank and learned my job, but the sense of brotherhood I had been promised was non-existent. I attempted to be more sociable, opening up to colleagues, asking questions, and giving compliments, but they labeled me as strange, goofy, or corny. My attempts at friendliness were rejected, and they were often cold and rude, withholding invitations. Once again, I struggled to communicate as a cool, interesting person. To them, I was simply a boring, awkward individual. I attempted suicide twice and lied about it to the therapists I regularly saw. Age 23, I began to lift myself out of my depression by attending the gym regularly. I decided to muster my courage to approach women again. Most of them politely turned me down, but one girl I met at the gym gave me her phone number and I believed she was nice. We spoke on and off for a month, and I sensed she wasn't particularly attracted to me, yet I continued to try. One day, a more charismatic guy began talking to her, making her laugh. I greeted her, asking if this man was her new personal trainer, attempting to engage in banter. The interaction was brief and I said goodbye. As I walked away, the guy muttered something under his breath, prompting her to laugh heartily. I continued my workout, but before I left, I tried to join their conversation. Not only was the guy standoffish, but she was outright rude. She rolled her eyes when I complimented her hard work, and when I wished them a good night, they did not respond. A few months later, I started going to the base gym, and by an odd coincidence, her new boyfriend, not the previous guy, was also in the military and frequented the base gym. When she spotted me, I noticed her rush over to her boyfriend, frantically telling him something. From that moment onward, her boyfriend stared me down whenever I walked around the gym as if he wanted to confront me. I ignored them. Thankfully, I eventually stopped seeing them. Also, age 23, I gained some more experience with women. By regularly attending the gym, I decided to create a Tinder account and received several matches from attractive women, which boosted my confidence. I went on 5 separate dates with 5 different women, losing my virginity to the first one. I kissed all of them since they were physically attracted to me, yet most of them lost interest and ghosted me by the time a second date came around, after they remembered how dull and awkward I had been during the first date. A couple of them described me as sweet and enjoyable to converse with, but were put off by my eagerness for intimacy. All those years of sexual repression came back to haunt me. Ages 23-24. I developed a significant crush on a girl I worked with. Although we were not in the same department, we would see each other during evening meetings, summarizing the day in each work center. I could tell she was interested in me based on how she looked at me and interacted with me. She made an effort to be near me, often standing next to me when I was engaged in conversation with others. I tried to build a relationship with her, but as we talked more, she became bored to the point of no longer attending the meetings. My social skills failed me once more. Age 24. A few months later, I left the military and returned to live with my family. The initial months were wonderful. I felt free again, reconnecting with family and escaping the constant alienation I experienced in the military. Despite the extent to which I had been sheltered, my family provided the closest semblance of friends I had. My father was able to retire. I soon began working at an incinerator. The job was poorly managed as it was still evolving, but it paid well. Ages 24-25. During the latter half of last year, I started receiving disability income due to the ailments I incurred while in the military. After some calculations, I found that the monthly payment was higher than my earnings from the incinerator job. I began making preparations to move to a different state since I wanted to travel more and break free from the sheltered life. During this time, I dated a lovely girl I had approached at my hometown gym for about 4 months. We went on dates, kissed, and had sex once, but it was an on-again, off-again situation. I sensed that she was growing bored and annoyed with me. The only reason I would consider it a relationship is to claim I have been in at least one. She did not want to do long distance, so we ended things after I relocated. Age 25, I moved, everything felt fresh. I furnished my apartment with new furniture and I was eager to pursue a freelance voiceover career. In the interim, I obtained a gym membership and began playing golf. It was enjoyable, then I tried to put myself out there once again. Every time I approach someone, whether male or female, I receive the same outcome. I compliment their appearance. They are pleasant during our initial interaction. We converse a second time. By the third or fourth time, they realize how dull I am to converse with, as if I lack the innate script everyone else follows. They engage with me politely until someone else joins in, at which point they act as if I am invisible, occasionally glancing at me and on rare occasions, half-heartedly laughing at my attempts at banter and humor before they turn away. This has persisted for an extended period. It has been my experience throughout my entire life. Each conversation I have with another person feels like a battle where I must say the correct thing at the appropriate moment for the interaction to go well. People will hear this and suggest that I am trying too hard or should just be myself. If I were myself and not putting in the effort, I would not be speaking to anyone at all, adhering to my familiar patterns. Most people possess social skills to the extent that their naturally charismatic demeanor represents their authentic selves. The constant cycle of rejection makes me reluctant to leave my apartment. Whenever I initiate a conversation, I feel as though I should be timing how long it takes for me to witness rejection cues. I observe all these individuals who socialize regularly, forming relationships effortlessly, and I wonder how I will ever achieve social comfort if this is the standard I must meet. People will tell me to simply engage with others and be kind to improve my social skills. However, what they often overlook is that no one wants to socialize with you if you lack social skills. I do not understand what is wrong with me. Some may suggest that what I have described is indicative of autism, yet I am almost certain that it is not. I scored a 38 on the RAADSR and a 54 on the ASPE quiz, which indicated a 100% likelihood of being neurotypical. I maintain eye contact, I smile, I do not fidget, I converse with people as if I genuinely enjoy their company, I attempt to be witty, engage in banter, and socialize. My empathy prevents me from lashing out at others. Continuous rejection and exclusion have made me adept at reading facial expressions. I cannot help but feel that my isolation due to homeschooling has greatly exacerbated this issue. A child needs to grow up feeling accepted by their peers and that they belong. This is the foundation of healthy self-esteem. It was also my fault, given how often I complained and expressed anxiety about school, but I wish my parents had helped me see the bigger picture during those times and encouraged me to persevere for the sake of a healthy, normal social upbringing. Had I attended school with my childhood friends, I would have been far happier, socially comfortable, and fulfilled. Relationships would have been effortless. Now I become physically ill whenever I hear or read the term relationship. Relationships are the essential drive for most people to live, yet I am unable to form any no matter how hard I struggle mentally. All of my old friends on Facebook and Instagram are getting married, having children, or posting about their outings with large friend groups. I cannot even get anyone to label me as their friend. I woke up at 11. It has been 8 hours and I have not left my bed. My phone battery is about to die. I just want to know if anyone who has experienced something similar has managed to overcome it. In truth, I appreciate you for reading this far.